when you love someone, you're willing to take the chance, even if you don't know what's beyond.
Saint Josemaria Escriva, the founder of Opus Dei, was canonised in October 2002. He taught that everyone can find God in their daily lives and activities, work and families. Many of his teachings were filmed during the catechetical journeys that he made in the 1970s. And today in the UK and Ireland, there are many people who benefit from his preaching on how to form a Christian family.
El sacramento santo del matrimonio no es solo un contrato, es a la vez contrato por el cual de dos carnes se hace una. Cuidado que lo dice duramente la Sagrada Escritura, pero hermosamente. Y yo no puedo menos de amar ese amor humano que el Señor me ha pedido a mí que me lo niegue. A mí me lo ha pedido, pero lo amo en los demás, lo amo en el amor de mis padres, lo amo en el amor vuestro, de los cónyuges entre sí. No te extrañe que yo bendiga ese amor que ha consagrado el Señor con un sacramento que es sacramento grande.
They give meaning to everything, and you know, the purpose of my life, the purpose of our marriage, is made very clear to me when I come home and I see my wife and my son.
So being with John has been, it's like being with a best friend, being with a loving husband. I smile every time I see him, the way he treats the children and looks after them. He looks after me very, very well and surprises me all the time with things. And sometimes when you don't expect something, he'll come up with it, you know, with flowers and the little things that make you happy.
Animaos pues, los que estéis casadas y los que estéis casados. Podéis y debéis ser unos santos cristianos. Ser santo no es hacer beaterías, hacer cosas raras. Es sencillamente lo ordinario de cada día mejor hecho. Y cuando no podemos hacerlo mejor, cada día con más pena por no haberlo hecho mejor. Y renovando los propósitos y a luchar. ¡Hala! Un poquito cada día.
For me, the message of Saint Josemaria about ordinary life is that captures it for me, because we're doing the same things all day. You know, pretty much everybody is trying to do the best for their family. They're trying to work hard. They're trying to work on their marriage relationship. They're trying to do the ordinary everyday things and do the best for their children and bring up their children well. But if you can apply a kind of a Christian spirit to that, it adds a whole depth and quality to what you do, and yet you don't have to be doing anything different. You're just trying to do things with maybe a deeper intention and with a sense of trying to live as a Christian in the middle of the world.
Putting love into everything that you do in the family, it just makes the job much more meaningful, because it's not very exciting. But if you understand what Saint Josemaria was teaching, that everything can be sanctified, that you can be doing God's work, whatever the job is, whether you're cleaning the children's teeth or, you know, disciplining them, however nice the job is, however unpleasant the job is, it's you're doing God's will, and that for me has been very strengthening.
Puedes y debes ser muy santa en el estado matrimonial. Gracias. Y queriendo mucho a tu marido, de tal manera que lo lleves a Dios a través del amor humano, que dentro del matrimonio es algo que agrada mucho a Dios nuestro Señor, y que lo quiere el Señor para muchas almas, para la mayoría de las almas. Ojalá hubiera muchos hogares así.
Getting married for me was extremely liberating. It has given me the sense of peace and fulfillment, that I am entirely where I am supposed to be at my wife's side. Helping her raise a child.
Debéis de tener mucho amor de Dios y mucho agradecimiento cuando os manda criaturas mostrándoos su confianza. Tantas veces cuantas viene un niño a vuestra familia, es una muestra de confianza del Señor. Estad contentos.
Actually, some days when you get back and you've had a really grotty day, and you don't always see the best of other humans, and you come home to your family and there's a restorative effect of seeing the love in your children's eyes or dealing with problems in the home. It puts everything else into perspective.
Padre, ¿qué nos dice a las que no tenemos hijos?
Que os queréis muchos, el marido y tú. Y después, si yo estuviera cerca de vosotros, os daría mucho que hacer. Y muchos hijos que amar, porque hay mucha gente que no tiene cariño. Es una gran cosa, es una providencia particular de Dios, no es una falta de amor de Dios. Es un modo especial de amar Dios a un matrimonio.
Estoy completamente de acuerdo,
Unas veces
padre.
los bendice con los hijos, unas veces les bendice no dándoles hijos, pero las dos bendiciones son estupendas.
When you give of yourself, and I think that's the time when you really meet God, and I think you can identify most with your role as a Christian.
Dear young friends, only Jesus knows what definite service He has in mind for you. Be open to His voice, resounding in the depths of your heart. Even now His heart is speaking to your heart. Christ has need of families to remind the world of the dignity of human love and the beauty of family life. He needs men and women who devote their lives to the noble task of education, tending the young and forming them in the ways of the gospel.
Hacen tanta falta padres de familia santos y madres de familia ejemplares. Madres de familia guapas, simpáticas, capaces de llevar una casa, de sacar a los hijos y el marido con felicidad adelante en esta tierra y prepararlos para el camino del cielo, que a última hora es lo que vale.
I think it's very important, as St. Josemaria says about it, to say to the children, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have, and to show that you're not perfect and that you're struggling as well, and to give them the idea that they're not going to be perfect, they have to struggle, and it's easy to be good when it's easy to be good. It's when it's not easy, that's when the kind of effort and virtue kicks in. So for them, I kind of feel it benefits them if I'm in a bad mood. That they can see that, that everybody has to learn how to, and everybody has to kind of struggle and say sorry afterwards.
It is a very, very joyful thing, and he really, in a lot of his writings, he really emphasises putting the joy back into the family, putting the sort of that atmosphere of security and warmth and encouragement, and most importantly, acceptance of who you are.
But the effort is not one big snap of the finger. It's all the little things that make it very special.
Los hijos se fijan en todo. De manera que todas las cosas que pasan en el hogar influyen para bien o para mal en vuestras criaturas.
It's just trying to remind them over and over again. It's not just about mum and dad doing it. It says, please help us. Mum and dad have been working all day. Why can't you do what we've asked you to do?
It's about instilling order. And the thing is, we sound like a broken record. And when we get to this height of passion in terms of how we speak, I always tell the kids, I have to record my voice so that I don't have to speak anymore. You just have to put it on and it'll tell you, okay, come home, where's mommy's and daddy's kiss, put your bags in the closet, hang your coats in the coat rack.
Procurad no esconder vuestra piedad. Procurad ser muy limpios en vuestra conducta. Y ellos aprenderán y serán la corona de vuestra madurez y de vuestra vejez.
We don't like this concept too much of me time. That what can I get out of life? It's more what can I bring? What can I give of myself?
Yo querría que esa paternidad se manifestara claramente, porque no abandonas los hijos a tu mujer con la excusa de que tienes mucho trabajo.
It is difficult. Because time is limited. We cannot extend time. It is a finite resource. So I try and make sure that certain times are very important and don't impinge on the family
Tú no solo vives del amor de tu mujer, del cariño de tus hijos, de la educación de tus hijos, de la amistad noble y buena con tus amigos, sino que tienes amistad y trato con Dios. Y eso te lleva tu tiempo. De ahí arranca que tus 24 horas se conviertan en 48. Enhorabuena.
I think if I didn't have a prayer life, I would find it very difficult to sort of to really appreciate kind of the position I have and the privilege I have of having children and having a husband who loves me. I'd kind of, I mightn't be quite so cognizant of the fact, you know, I might be kind of a bit more tempted to sort of let the frustrations of being at home take over, you know.
But you're lost in a dream flickering on your...
Here's the thing, you can't teach your child to love. You can't teach them to love. You can't teach them to love God. It's not something you teach a child to do. You have to pass it on to them in some way. And so that is something that's a beautiful challenge.
Y desde pequeños los vais soltando, les vais haciendo discurrir, no les obliguéis a hacer muchas cosas de piedad, unas oraciones vocales muy breves que tú, mamá, las sabes decir y los niños las saben repetir, y si un día te olvidan te llaman y te dicen, mamá, que no he dicho a la Virgen nada, y tú les dices lo que tienen que decir, ellos ya lo saben, pero les gusta decirlo con mamá, y otras veces con papá, los dos. Y cuando ya son mayores los vas soltando, poco a poco, ellos que sepan bien cuáles son sus obligaciones, pero no les puedes coaccionar más que con el buen ejemplo, con un consejo oportuno. Las madres sois oportunas siempre, y con una mirada de cariño. Una mirada tuya vale más que 100 improperios, ¿eh? Mira con cariño.
I personally find when I kind of feel organised and cheerful and I've been on top of things, everybody in the family is cheerful and it just sets up the tone, and then when everyone else is cheerful, then I'm even more cheerful. So it's actually like a kind of a circle.
Es la madre la que tiene las manos más delicadas para poner en el barro los últimos detalles. ¿Habéis visto a un escultor? Pues así, vosotras tenéis todo. En esas conversaciones con los hijos, cediendo a veces y otras veces sin ceder, pero sin poneros tozudas y sin levantar la voz a grandes gritos. Y son pequeños sin darles cachetes, que después os arrepentís de darlos. ¿No lográis nada? No lográis nada más que os enfadáis y después os tenéis que desenfadar. Mira tú qué gracia. Luego, un poquito de conversación con los hijos va bien. Y consigue después que tu marido tenga un rato de conversación con los chicos antes de que sean mayores. Que se los lleve de paseo o de excursión.
First comes the husband and then the children. A lot of affection and love, caring for them. You know, that naturally they come to me because I'm a bit softer than Dominic. He's more disciplinarian with them. But my role really is to show them how to love each other through the love I have with my husband and the love I have with them. And to bring them up with good virtues, with good values, that they realize that forgiveness is important.
Y el amor hay que cuidarlo, custodiarlo, conservarlo, limpiarlo, defenderlo, como se defiende a los hijos.
But what's important is that when you have the discussions, is how do you sit down together and try to understand what went wrong, what can you do differently the next time, but at the same time, it's what can you do to change.
Que tengan paciencia, que se disculpen, que hagan lo posible por comprenderse.
And I always say to Dominic, I can't sleep if we have finished on an argument. So we forgive each other, and you know, and then I can sleep better at night. Otherwise, I'm nervous and worried about, you know, that the other one is upset.
Que se perdonen. Hay una falta de entendimiento porque no se saben perdonar. Decís que os queréis muchas veces, marido y mujer. A mí me vienen muchos al cabo del año y los recibo a todos con afecto porque es mi deber. Los oigo. Y cuando son marido y mujer y me dicen que se quieren, digo, tú quieres a tu marido, está el marido delante con las orejas ahí. Pero mucho, me dicen, mucho, mucho. Lo quieres con sus defectos. Entonces no lo quieres. Y a él le digo lo mismo, tú quieres a tu mujer con sus defectos. Eso les tienes que decir, que defectos tenemos todos. Yo tengo tantos que no me extraña que a veces haya una falta de entendimiento entre un marido y una mujer que realmente han nacido el uno para el otro y se quieren.
For me, one prime example is going back to when we just had our second child, okay, and it was Christmas time. There was the pressure of having two very young children, and we just got caught up in everything that we had to do, you know, doing things for the kids, trying to sort things out, and that meant that we made no time to speak for one another. We just felt so miserable over that Christmas period. Once we'd got through Christmas and New Year, both of us just sat down and said, what's happened here? You know, why have we gone through Christmas and New Year? Should be such a happy occasion, and we've been absolutely miserable. So Mike and I took the point to say, let's sit down together, say, why did this happen? Where do we feel this came from? And what do we do about avoiding this in the future? So that's what we did. A simple thing is to sit down and communicate with one another.
Ceded vosotras un poquito. Él cederá también. Luego, delante de los hijos no riñáis. Que los niños se fijan en todo, que los niños forman enseguida su juicio. No saben que San Pablo ha escrito Qui judicat Dominus es, que es el Señor el que juzga. Y ellos se erigen en señores, aunque tengan 3 o 4 años, y piensan mamá es mala o papá es malo. Es un lío feroz, pobres criaturas. ¡Qué tragedia! No hagáis esa tragedia en los corazones de vuestros hijos. Esperad un poquito, tened paciencia. Y ya reñiréis, cuando el chico esté dormido reñís, ¿eh? Pero poquito, sabiendo que no tenéis razón. Ya se os ha pasado el enfado, ¿eh? Se os ha pasado el enfado y aquel de los dos que cree que tiene razón le tiene que decir al otro, perdóname, porque verdaderamente soy impaciente y te quiero con toda mi alma. Y os dais un buen abrazo, hacéis las paces, unas paces muy sabrosas, anda.
I suppose the best thing is having our children, and the most challenging thing is having your children. It's probably one of the best things that happens in our marriage.
Los educas y te ayuda tu marido. Porque a veces los maridos son tranquilitos y dejan a la mamá que se ocupe de los niños. Y está muy mal hecho, y eso lo de mi parte a tu marido, que está muy mal hecho, que son unos tranquilos. Que el mejor negocio que tienen es ocuparse de los hijos. Por lo tanto, que te ayude.
The thing is that it's how you look at these things. Like the next nappy you have to change, right? You can either look at that and say, oh God, not again, or you can say, this is a moment with my child.
Por lo tanto, vete con tu mujercita y con tus niños. Si es necesario ponerse a gatas con los pequeños, te pones a jugar con un tren o con soldaditos. Ya no hacen soldaditos de plomo, qué pena, ¿eh? Y hacerte amigo de tus hijos. Este es el gran consejo.
And it's about God seeing us as an instrument through that love that we can give to our family, and the fact that we've been chosen and we've been blessed to actually do that.
You must be very organised, and you must treat the family home with as much of a professional attitude as you would in the workplace if somebody was paying you to do that particular job.
Every child has a job to do in the house, a daily job that they have to do, not for themselves, but for the family. It might be putting a load of wash in, or vacuuming around the house, or the worst job, I think, is matching up the socks in this house, because you know we've got 11 people. But they understand that, you know, there's an importance to work. Work is about service to others. Work is about achieving something. Work is about giving glory to God.
15 months between our first two little boys, and we didn't think we could have a third, so it was a huge it was amazing to know that we could have another boy. We never thought we'd have any children, so to be pregnant with a third child was amazing for both of us. Unfortunately, he was born spontaneously at 27 weeks gestation. That's 3.5 months early. He was resuscitated on birth. He is now 2.5. He's 24/7 care. He's only discharged from Temple Street Children's Hospital, and he has a tracheostomy for airway problems. He's on a ventilator at night time and is peg tube fed. So it's been incredibly hard and very difficult the last 2.5 years.
I suppose I never felt I had a cross to carry, and these were true crosses. And of course at times you felt, you know, why me? You know, there is that. At the same time you're kind of a selfish feeling maybe, or, you know, why can't it be somebody else? And, you know, sometimes I turn that around the other way and say, why not me? And that is, you know, that's the cross that we've been given. And I suppose on the other hand, to look at it as a grace as well. Very difficult. As a grace, you know, that you're given a grace. It's a cross in one sense, but it's also a grace.
¿Qué sería sin el dolor el mundo? Sería una pena. Un cuadro sin sombras es un cuadro sin cuadro. Solo con luces, no. Tiene que haber sombras. Y el dolor llevado por amor es algo muy sabroso, muy bueno. Todas las mamás lo saben.
You learn that love is so unconditional, that you get through it. You get, you know, you use the cross, I think, as a guide every day. Sometimes you think, you know, why me, and why, you know, why we could, you know, be given this. But as Colm said, it's a grace and a gift, and I think that's part of the cross and part of its unconditional love.
Diles que el Señor del cielo es su Padre y que el tiempo para amar es corto, que amen aquí y que el amor se manifiesta en el dolor.
It's about trying to make that other person happy, and I think by making that other person happy, that makes you feel happier in yourself.
You know, you cannot quantify them. They surpass all your expectations.
Nobody can tell you for sure that, you know, your life is going to be, you know, easy and everything you want is going to happen. But, you know, you have to take a chance on happiness. You know, that's the biggest thing.
Defended vuestro amor conyugal. ¡Qué santo! Defendedlo. Sed colaboradores de Dios, y así os querréis mucho, y querréis el uno los defectos del otro que no sean ofensa de Dios. Todo os parecerá perfección, y os ayudaréis, y formaréis una sola carne, un solo corazón.
Dublin.
10-4.